Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Dicing with Death. So, you sleep for the day.
Yes.
You can sleep all day. Nothing prevents you.
And we do.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Oh, God.
Oop,
Oh, no.
I can hear you. Watching your own stream.
I had to turn on chat on my tablet, but it got messed up because it disconnected DC'd from the net, and then I had to open the internet again, which then I had to go find the channel again and join the chat again, and in the process the video came up, and then I had to mute the audio, and it's just a big nightmare. It was the worst experience of my day. Mind you, I've been awake for an hour and a half, so
The bar is low.
yeah.
So we spend all day napping and resting in this little. Is it like a gully, a valley, or is it just like a creek?
It's a little pool, like some a small. I don't even want to call it a river. It's more like the snow melt from the mountains comes down and forms a a pool at the base of the mountain, and then a creek leads off of that down towards the ocean.
Okay. So from here, maybe I'll stroll to a nearby hill or climb. I'm not
There's
doing
really
anything
no
special.
hills.
I guess I didn't take damage. I just need to rest the day.
You just
So
need
I'm
to
going to try and
rest.
get a view from here, from camp, of like a mountain pass to attempt.
You do not see any mountain passes from this location.
Like, what would happen if I were to head west from here? Is it just like a. I'd have
It's
to
like a
mountaineer my way over the mountain.
At this point, you would need how does that work? At this point, you would need some actual climbing gear to get anywhere.
Well, I think
There's
that
no-
just gives you doesn't it just give you a bonus on.
No, I mean like you would need to rock climb. It is like a steep cliff. There's no path. It's literally
Well,
you'd like be scrambling up a mountainside.
you told me off screen what's in this forest, but I'm not going to metagame, so we're
Good.
just going to keep trudging.
Yes. For
Well, I
those
guess
of you,
after
well, I
the
guess
day,
since I guess I told Ryan already.
Yeah.
The int check that he failed was to remind him that last time we played a couple weeks ago, the halfling in the village told him not to go to this forest because this is the Goblin forest. But he forgot that, so
Yep. So
He's
we're
in
taking the forest
okay.
the whole way, all the way to the end of the forest. That evening, I guess.
Hold on, we're not done. There are encounters to deal with today.
During the day. Okay, while we're lounging about.
So while you are napping, you are.
I don't think I'm tired, but I need to kill time to rememorize spells.
Yes, you need to rest and clear your mind and restore your body
Do
to
the
prime
slaves
condition.
do things of their own accord? Like, did they not feed themselves unless I tell them to go, like, see if they can find some squirrels or something?
No, you're lounging around. You can hear their stomachs rumbling. And at a certain point, Reptar just kind of takes the initiative and walks off on his own and comes back a little bit later with a few small berries. The other slaves look at him with intrigue, and he shakes his head and says,
I say,
"This forest is hard to find food in. I only found these few. If we are to live off the land, we will have some problems."
Oh, do feel free to wander around this glen and see if you can't wrangle anything up.
They nod and head off. Half an hour later, they
We're dying!
they come back, but they are crouched low to the ground and moving quickly.
Did they all go and left me alone by the pond, or?
No, one of them, the one that was badly wounded, is staying with you.
Okay.
And then the others split off into two groups of two. Anyway, one of these groups is coming back low to the ground, moving quickly and as quietly as possible.
Say no. That's not how you reduce your size. Here, I'll.
Shh. I say, but over by the pool, because you're probably a few feet away from or a little bit away from the big pool where you buried the body. Goblins.
I turn my head to look. Do I see goblins in bushes or something?
No, the forest is fairly dense here, and you can't see where they're pointing.
Have I ever seen a goblin?
you have read about them and you have seen drawings and pictures. You may have even seen a captured goblin once,
I
but you've
speak
never met a
hobgoblin,
free goblin.
so I speak hobgoblin. So I've probably read a fair bit about goblins. The hobgoblins are probably slightly more prone to actually writing things down, or maybe I got like some. The
Hob-
university had like some hobgoblin artifacts in the basement that had glyphs on
Hobgoblins are
them.
bigger, smarter. They're just better goblins in all ways.
It's true.
It's really true. So you may have learned hobgoblin from. Maybe that's it. Maybe you had a captured hobgoblin at your university.
A hobgoblin in a cage, and you
Yeah.
can pay your tuition to ghosts get to spend in
Well,
it.
yeah, part of the
3 hours.
tuition is, learning about these strange and wondrous monsters, and this one was captured, and part you had a class on Hobgoblin, and you all had to learn the language together, and
And we
it
had to
mostly
memorize their
consisted of
runes.
insults and yelling and
And
cursing, and
that was actually probably one of the best classes to get into. The waiting
yeah,
list for that elective.
you probably had to
First
pull some strings to get
hobgoblin.
into that one.
An ogre too. Did I actually get to learn that from a real live ogre in a cage?
No, I think it was from a half ogre who was
Oh
attending the
yeah,
university and wanted to
cool.
well, if you let me in, I can teach you all how to speak ogre. And then they're like, yeah, 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 yeah. Here's a scholarship. Come learn and teach us ogre.
So goblins, however, will be a new problem,
Hmm.
especially without spells.
Anyway, they say a dozen goblins over by the over by the pool.
Well, we need to get the fuck out of here. Aren't we by the pool?
They nod. Yes, yes, just over beyond those bushes. They have
I,
baskets and fishing poles and backpacks.
where are the other reptars?
Reptar and Orwell are, I don't know, they went off to gather food. They have not come back yet.
Why are we gathering food when there's fish?
They shrug. We didn't know there were fish. It's a small mountain pool. Why would there be fish in there?
Well, you speak very well. Come.
Are we are we fleeing or are we going after the goblins?
Um, we're buying their fish. I give a shrug and I head over towards where the goblins are.
Okay. Walking through the forest,
I hope
push
I hope the Reptarians follow me.
you push past some brambles and appear near the
I
big
stop pushing
pool.
if there's not um, bronze men parading behind me. I mean,
They
I
follow
start
you.
pushing through the woods, but did they follow?
They do follow.
Okay.
You push through these bushes and come out near the big pool of water, and you see about a dozen goblins. Some of them are bathing. Some of them are washing clothes. Two of them have fishing poles in the pool. You notice one of them's got a big basket which has food that is being passed out to some others who are kind of lounging about. It looks like they. It almost looks like they're on a picnic.
All right. I look to the slaves behind me. They have sticks in their hands.
Yes, but as you clear your throat, there's a like you speak Goblin. There's a look.
Nope.
It's a
I
human.
speak hobgoblin. So I
Oh,
probably can't quite make out with it. So okay. To the guys behind me, I say, "Make sure you got a big stick." And then I
okay.
step into the clearing and shout in hobgoblin, "Tune up, grunts!
Uh, there's some jabber, and you hear a derogatory.
Papa's in town."
You hear a
Some insult
derogatory
that I
word for
learned,
human being passed about because Goblin and Hobgoblin are related.
and I try to strut in there like I own the place, barking
Okay.
orders in hobgoblin. I hope you got enough fish to share. And then
They.
march in like I think a hobgoblin war chief would,
Mhm.
with a parade of skittish naked men with sticks behind me.
Are they all naked?
I don't know. You tell me.
No, they've got some clothes
I,
on.
I was imagining them naked this whole time, but
No one
apparently not.
would transport slaves totally naked. They've got clothes, but not a lot. They've got shorts but no shirts.
Ooh, tiny orange shorts. That was
No,
a
they're
terrible
not orange.
tiny orange. All right.
Um,
Okay, so there's four, and they are clothed. It's good to know.
yes. There are two
And they
with
have
you.
sticks.
The other two
There's
haven't
two
come
with
back
me.
yet.
Wasn't and there was one wounded at camp, but he stayed at camp.
He stayed at camp.
Well, I hope that my chest is as big and puffed up as it can be.
Okay.
I put my belly out. I remember that's a thing about hobgoblin culture is that
The
a
belly.
prominent belly is a symbol of authority.
Good.
So I try and push my paunch out and pull my robes tight around it
Ooh.
as I survey the goblin camp.
One of the goblins all kind of back to the opposite side of the pool, dragging their things with you, and one of them that's in the water up to their neck grumbles back in Hobgoblin, "Who are you in our woods?"
They call me El Jefe, Hobgoblin war chief, I say in Hobgoblin.
You're not a hobgoblin.
I grunt. Well, I.
You're a dirty human.
And you're a clean goblin from the looks of it. He seems to speak Hobgoblin enough to actually converse.
Yes.
Well, it seems you have many fish. And I look at the fish.
Yes, there are baskets of food all over.
Come, let's trade. Shiny human coins for fish. You like silver?
There's
is there all male goblins, or is it like a family?
How could you tell the difference between male and female? You could probably tell the difference between male and female.
Can I roll an intelligence check to
give me an
spot
intelligence
boobies?
check to speculate on sex differences?
Nope.
No, you can't.
I point to one of the goblins at random, and I say, after this, like, do you like silver? I point to one of the goblins at random, and I say, looks like your girlfriend could use a new necklace. Why don't you buy her something nice? And I produce like a silver coin from my pocket in case the concept of trade didn't come across.
That's my sister.
Girlfriend, sister, not translate. In Hobgoblin, same word for both.
Okay. She looks back at you, or it looks back at you, kind of gazes.
Are they going for
over.
weapons, or are they going to sell me some fish?
No, you actually don't see any weapons other than the fishing poles.
Okay.
And the hobgoblin in the water, or the goblin in the water, says, "Where? I don't see any soldiers. I don't see any weapons. What are you doing in our woods?"
How dare you? Good thing they don't understand Hobgoblin.
These naked men? These are your troops? These are your warriors? The ones holding sticks they picked up off the floor?
But look at their muscles. And I go and squeeze one of their biceps. Do they have muscles?
They do.
Yeah. These are warriors' arms. The slave's all uncomfortable that I'm barking in Hobgoblin and feeling them up.
Maybe. I mean,
maybe
it's not the most degrading thing that's happened to him in his life.
These were once a Kuban soldiers. Mm-hmm. Do you know where a Kuba is?
I do not know the names of your
strange
goblin,
human. And I'm a hobgoblin.
You're not a hobgoblin. You're a human. Stop saying you're a hobgoblin.
Is my accent that telling?
No, your face is. You do not carry the traditional fur. Unless you're a shaved hobgoblin, but your nose is too pointy.
Well, I'm a magus, a master of dimension. And if you aren't careful, I won't sell your fish. I'll just teleport it into my pocket, and then you won't get any silver. Now, what'll it be? Silver or pocket lint?
I really don't know. Would the goblins be willing to trade with you? They've never had any humans try and trade with them
I thought about
before.
going in and demanding tribute, but the wind left my lungs when I looked back and saw there were only two behind me instead of Reptar and his Mary. I need Reptar right now. I was hoping he'd hear the noise and stumble in, but maybe not.
Okay, one of the other goblins speaks up
Sticks.
and jabbers in Goblin. You don't catch any of the words, but the one who's in the water
Let me
yells
know if
back.
if they're like forming a I'm trying to gauge their reaction to me, I guess. Or they
Confusion, hesitation, caution.
so we're
Lots of caution.
on the same page.
Yeah. I think you're all kind of wary about this situation. The one in the water barks back at the one on land who's yelling at her, and then wades from the water towards you. And as it comes out of the water, you definitely notice this is a goblin female. Because, bathing goblins, clothes cling a little bit more tightly. The outline of goblins are mammals, right?
Yeah, well, I'm thankful that we are not a TV show at this moment. I think.
But you think this would be the goblin boobies are too much for people to handle?
No, I'm not saying too much for people to handle, but it'd be a strange sight to behold.
Yes, yes. Thankfully, Game of Thrones doesn't have naked goblins in it.
Yeah, this is why there's no goblins in Game of Thrones universe.
It'd just be weird. Anyway, she emerges from the water and says, "We will trade fish for silver. One silver per fish."
Good try. I look. How many baskets are there? Or like what?
There are about a dozen goblins, and there's about a dozen baskets to go with them. Not all of them have fish. Some of them have other nuts, berries, fruits, small animals.
Silver for a basket, and I motion with the silver that I have, and I pull a second silver coin out, and I say, "I full basket."
5
2 for
silver.
2 for 1. I saw the the 2 silver coins. I rub in my fingers and I point to the basket. 2 coins, 1 basket of fish. This is all in Hobgoblin. She speaks rudimentary Hobgoblin.
She speaks pretty decent Hobgoblin, actually.
Right, seems to understand what I'm saying.
Yeah. 5 silver, 1 basket.
Do you know what one of these silver coins will get you in town? I like hand the silver. I assume the deal's been done. Although I guess
she's far enough away that you can't just hand it to her. She's on your side of the pool, but she's still a good 10 feet from you. 5 silver. We do not trade in human towns. This basket will feed your men for many days.
Full basket.
Full basket.
I bring out a fistful of silver. 5.
Okay. She takes it.
Hand her the stack of coins.
Brings over a basket of fish. Sets it like 20 feet away from you or so.
So they're like afraid to approach us. We were like shouting across this.
Yeah, most of the goblins are on the other side of the pool from you. This one has come across, but they definitely try to keep their distance. The trade happens, and
Did
the
they
goblin.
say that this was their forest at some point?
Nope.
Or
Nope. Actually, yes. They said, "What are you doing in our forest?"
okay.
I did say that.
Yeah. I guess I don't know if I rolled a 1. I think I'll prevent myself from connecting dots.
Okay.
And buy the fish and then get back to our camp and kill the fish.
The goblins scatter after the deal is done.
Maybe they'll assume that was their tribute. Be able to hang out here, or maybe we'll get murdered by goblins.
Who knows?
So we get a good old fashioned fish roast.
Yeah, you head back to your spot. As you get back there, you see Reptar and the other slave with you. It's Reptar and Orwell. They have returned. And they look at you, bringing back this basket of fish. And Reptar says, "What? Fish! Basket! Where you get basket of fish?
I conjured it from another dimension. Where I
Hmm.
am from, they have this thing called pickled herring. You ever had pickled herring, Reptar?
I have not. It sounds terrible.
Well, as I
Vinegar
said,
is
I
the
pulled
worst
this
of.
fish from another space, but I got the time wrong. In a couple months, this will be pickled. For now, it's just fish.
Mm. He nods. Um, and they dig in. Someone builds a fire, and the fish start to get cooked. And you go back to resting.
Yep, whiling away the day. I would have been much better with dealing with those goblins if I could enlarge myself.
10%. Okay. This another few hours pass, and eventually, halfway through the day, you are rested and can rememorize your spells.
And I did the same thing. Enlarge and color spray.
Okay.
I can be very creative with spells until you give me some magic glyphs to detect or scrolls to read.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. What do you do now?
Um, I guess we're heading north through the woods along the mountains,
Hmm.
trying to find a place to cross. They're not snow covered, right? They're just sheer.
There are snow-capped peaks. It's not on the map because they are seasonal rather
Mm-hmm.
than permanent.
Okay, so it's like a spring snow melt.
Yeah.
Reunited, we travel north.
Okay. You can travel for another 8 hours today.
Okay,
Not even. You can travel for like another six
so we'll,
hours.
we'll probably travel through the night some. I have torches. I guess
Okay. Well,
did
a
I
few
think to
hours
put my
later,
torch
you
out
are
after the fight, or should I delete it from my character sheet?
the what?
Torch. Did I think to put it out after the fight, or is it gone?
It's probably gone because it only lasts for 10 minutes, and you would have lit it and then fought off the sturges and then used the light to make a fire and deal with
Yeah.
the other
Okay.
stuff. Um,
So I have two torches, but and some candles. How long do candles last?
much longer, but their light radius is significantly smaller. Your candles will last for hours and hours, but they don't. Candlelight is pretty paltry.
Yeah.
It's only useful for reading something directly in front of you, or.
Okay. So we trudge a little past dark, I think,
Yeah.
if we don't see anything before sundown.
Some hours later, as you're trudging along the mountainside, you come across a grove of trees. There is a large oak in the middle, surrounded by a dozen, maybe just shy of a dozen, like 10 other oaks, maybe eight other oaks in a circle around it. So you've got this big one in the middle, and then these eight others in a perfect circle around the middle one. It looks quite
Seems
unusual.
peculiar. A circle is geometric perfection. Optimized ink length. Best shape, I say to Reptar.
Circle good shape. Make best shield.
Making me regret not memorizing detect magic now.
Hmm.
All right,
Wow.
so I step into this circle and proceed to investigate it. Are all the trees in the circle the same?
They're all oaks. The one in the
Size?
middle is much older and much larger than the
So it's
others.
like a nipple in the
Yes,
center.
it's like a nipple of trees.
And they're all the same. You said the oak in the center is largest.
Hmm.
And there's no growth in the clearing or grass,
Grass.
ferns,
No, just grass. Maybe some wildflowers here and there.
So I think the group fans out into this clearing as I take some time investigating. I think we like
As
take a
you
break here.
approach the center tree, its boughs, the boughs of a
Boughs.
tree, the boughs of a
I think
tree.
it's boughs.
The boughs start to move. The tree groans with the creak of bending wood. And two sections of bark kind of peel back and turn to reveal wooden eyes. The roots of the tree rip out of the ground as the tree moves in your direction, and a booming voice says, Who are you to enter my grove? You do not look like goblins.
Is he speaking common?
The tree is speaking common.
I back away slightly. Say, I. My name is Georg. I am a magus from across the sea. And how very astute of you. No, we are not goblins. Is he like approaching me, or
No, I mean
just
you were approaching him.
okay? Yeah. So I
It.
hesitated. What are the slaves doing?
They back the fuck up. They kind of form a two on your left, two on your right. Wounded man behind you. The tree says, "Get out of my trees."
May we pass through your circle? It's a very nice circle. I must admit.
If you
Perfection.
take so much as a bundle of kindling from my. What do you call something that you are protecting? Not your protectorate. I guess if you take so much as a bundle of kindling from my protectorate, I shall snap your bones like you snap a twig.
I like whisper comically loudly to Reptar. Hide the clubs. We will not harm your majestic branches, O great old one. Oh, how many centuries you must have perfected this ring?
12 centuries.
Well, it shows. You keep up the good work. We'll be on our way now. Quickly now, boys. And I gingerly skip through the clearing,
The tree
giving this tree a
turns
wide berth.
to watch you as you go through its clearing.
I turn my head over my shoulder as I leave and say, tree, what is your name?
I believe in your tongue. I would be called Lichen.
Lichen. Well, keep on keeping on, Lichen. I hope none of the slaves took any twigs, and we continue through.
No one took anything from the trees.
None of the trees in the ring around it were alive, were they?
Nope.
At least to our eyes.
Okay. You guys pass through the Ents protectorate with no problem. And as the day ends, you are deep, deep within the forest.
There is no sign of any pass in the mountains.
Let's take a look. You do, as your day ends, you notice a section in the mountains that looks like it might be passable. You would definitely have to explore it to tell. But there's a section where the one of the mountain sides has a slope that looks like you could switch back up it.
Okay. Well, I propose that we sort of camp out here and then investigate in the morning.
Okay.
Watches again. Can we double up? Does that math work?
There are 6 of you total, so if you break the watches into 4 sections, you can have doubles on 2 of the watches.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
That is okay. Oh man, what are the chances?
More Sturges.
No. So you awake the next morning. Nothing had happened that evening or that night.
Nobody missing.
No one's missing. No Sturges. No goblins. No treants. Nothing.
Well, we wake up and eat some slightly more fermented fish.
Mm-hmm.
We probably grilled it all. Did we grill it? What's grosser, raw fish or
raw fish? Nothing's grosser than raw fish.
But can you imagine like cooking fish and then keeping it in your pockets all day?
I
We
mean,
had all
it
day,
just
so we
sat in a
probably,
leather bag.
probably smoked it over the fire and just
You
hung
had it
out.
in a basket. Someone could have been carrying a basket over their shoulder with fish. It would have been,
Yeah, okay.
yeah.
But it's all cooked. It's all like smoked
Mhm.
over the oak fire. Hopefully, it wasn't a treant, and we're cursed for all
Right.
eternity. So next morning,
So you are there in the morning. Um,
getting up camp. I guess I didn't need to memorize spells.
nope.
So
Um, yeah, morning passes, and you guys gear up
I
and
felt
get
like that was an
ready.
encounter that I missed, but I'll go with it. And I'll organize the camp in the morning. Well, I didn't do much. I get up,
You organize things and get ready
put on
to
my boots,
explore this
and
mountain pass.
you said it looks like there's switchbacks. So it looks like it's a path.
Well, it looks like you could switch back. There are no switchbacks up it, but it's shallow enough that you can't like walk straight up the path, but up the mountain. But if you walk sideways across the mountain, you could conceivably walk up it.
It sounds ill-advised.
That's the only thing that looks like a pass that you've come across. It's definitely not a man-made pass. It would
I
be
guess I'll give it a test. Like we'll start walking up it and see how difficult it is. I don't want to like risk life and limb to get over these mountains this way.
Okay.
I'm willing to walk around or swim around or whatever.
Okay. So as you begin to ascend the mountain, actually, it's
Why are there
wow.
wolves howling? It's daylight.
Because I don't have a normal forest, a daylight forest track. I only have a forest night track. Ooh, wait, that's not true. We can do Zingu nights. Might work.
Yeah, it's like a jungly
It's
thing.
jungly. It is.
That's
Um, as you begin to ascend the pass, there is a twang of a bowstring.
we get our shit kicked.
As a volley of arrows
I know there's a volley
approaches you from the south, from the east, from down below the mountain range,
from behind.
from behind. Oh my god. I wish you could see these rolls.
Did you just fuck me, Neil?
I just fucked your slaves. I think that's 3 criticals. No, 2 criticals, a double crit, and a crit miss. 1, 18, 19, 20.
Well, that didn't last long.
Not including back attack, that makes actually 3 double crits. Wow.
Is one of those me?
I haven't even rolled to see who they're targeting yet.
I mean, if it's me, that's the campaign's over.
Well, let's hope it's not you then. How many slaves? There are 6 of you left.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's see.
I didn't even have time to reduce myself to make my. Oh, I guess I only have enlarge.
One of them is indeed you. However, you are lucky enough that it is the natural 1 that hits you. And 2 goblins target the same person, apparently.
He gets double critted.
Yeah, that guy's probably gone.
They're all probably gone.
Let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 damage to one of your guys. Renewally is dead.
New quote, Neil.
I told you to stay out of this forest. Renewly's gone. 8 damage. Yeah, that takes out Fander.
Silac all over again.
You get missed. So 2 of your slaves immediately drop with arrows in their back. And
I guess I look to see.
You look down and you see 4 goblins. Just 4 at the base of this mountainous area, maybe 100 feet from you.
How far away are they from us?
100 feet.
100 feet?
Mm-hmm. They're not that far.
Those little bastards.
You've just broken clear of the forest, and they are just at the edge of the forest.
On my initiative, or is that a whole? Did they get another ball? Is that a whole surprise round, or?
I think when they fire, no, because they. How do you want to say it? They don't get a surprise round. They get a surprise attack. Because no, how do you want to? They approached you from an angle where you couldn't see, but you did not fail your surprise check, so you can
Okay.
react as soon as the volley goes off. Um, you rolled that. You have what? You have 3 slaves left.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. And there are 4 of them. And we should put on some battle music because this might be the end. Okay. And the 4 goblins need initiative dice.
Which of this? I guess I'll figure out which slaves one's at later.
You roll a 4 and go first.
Okay, so I think what I shouted, whatever, I go down the hill shouting in Hobgoblin, "You little bastards!" You have any idea what you just? Okay, no, battle's over. I cast my color spray, and they're all knocked the fuck out.
Wow. I guess you can. Can you move
Flashbang!
that distance and cast your spell?
Oh, you're right. I can't move and cast a spell, can I? I mean, are we doing 2E by the books? I mean, if we're doing 2E by the books, then I have to move towards them and start casting.
You cannot move and cast a spell in the same round. Is that what we've determined?
What's the range on? I don't know. That's what it says in the book, but
Okay. Yeah, if that's what it says in the book, that's what it says in the book.
Range 0. Okay, so I guess I'm shouting curses at them in Hobgoblin as I cast my. I don't know how you want to do the timing here, so I guess I didn't even need to roll initiative. I don't know.
Well, so you go first. Do you not want to cast that spell now that you realize that you can't move and cast it? Would you rather have done something else?
I don't know what. I think I'll still go through with it. I guess I go storming up to them, shouting insults, casting my spell. But you're saying, yeah, but we're doing can't move and cast spells. So.
Right. God, where is that in the book? Is it under
That's all
combat?
pretty vague, but in spell casting, it's like you can't. Well,
Are we sure? Because this is a pretty key thing and something that we should.
I mean, in all of your campaigns, you typically allow moves and spells, and in later editions they do. But I think in 2E, it's pretty much just like you stand still and cast a spell.
Yeah.
Casting spells. Customers have both arms free. So where does my staff go when I'm casting a spell?
I'm sure you just lean it against yourself or something.
Once the casting has begun, the character must stand still.
Okay, so that you can still move and cast.
Cannot be accomplished while riding a horse. Blah blah blah. Okay, so I can move and cast.
Yeah, but once you start casting the spell, you have to stand.
I storm up to the goblins, tell them to mind their manners in Hobgoblin, mix my 3 sand. Like I think I hand my quarterstaff to one of the goblins for him to hold for me, and I hope he just like instinctually takes hold of the quarterstaff.
Okay.
If not, I drop it at his feet.
Right.
Mix 3 powdered sands in my hand and shout "Flash bomb!" and they all go unconscious. If there's only 4.
There are only 4.
And the fight's over.
I guess.
I was looking at page 111 of the player's handbook.
Let's see. Furthermore, if the spellcaster is struck by a weapon or fails to make a saving throw before the spell is cast, the caster's concentration is disrupted. The spell is lost in a fizzle of useless energy and is wiped clean from the. Okay, yeah. Cool. Boom. Done. Wow, that was fast. The goblins are knocked unconscious.
Really not get a save? It's so crazy.
Wizards are strong. Your men approach the goblins, clubs in hand, murder
I think I'm
in
cursing
their
to myself
eyes.
in Hobgoblin again.
And without a word, your men proceed to beat the unconscious goblins to death with their clubs. It's pretty savage. There are lots of grunts and yells and screams. And after the goblins are dead, they continue to beat the bodies.
I ignored that. I left them. I don't say anything about this. I'm looking up the hill. There's 2 bodies. Two
bodies. Mm-hmm.
Which ones? I don't know that I was keeping names straight, but I would recognize Reptar and the wounded guy.
It was the wounded guy, Renuli, and it was Fander. Okay. So you were left with Reptar, Orwell, and Rugbug.
So are those 2 just like dead? They bleeding out?
Renuli is dead. He got double crit. He's gone.
An arrow through the back of his head.
Fander had 1 HP and took 8 damage. So
So by the time I get to him, he's like
he's at negative
pumping.
9 by the time you get to him.
I think I just will watch him sadly bleed out.
I
As
mean, it would be a mercy to try and keep him alive at this point would be, well, it would be suicide, first off.
Yeah.
And secondly, it would be a miserable existence.
Well, I walk back down the hill to watch Reptar and Orwell and what's his bucket beat the living
Rugbug.
shit out of these goblins,
Yeah.
take their stuff. If they don't take their stuff instinctually, I say take their stuff. They have bows.
Reptar says, their weapons? You would allow
God.
slaves to arm themselves?
I don't know if you've noticed, Reptar, but you're not exactly a slave anymore.
He shakes his big collar.
I know, nice necklace.
We are slaves until the collars are removed. It is law of land.
Well, find me a forge and we'll see about that. So what weapons did the goblins have? Do they have any blades?
They had short bows and daggers.
Okay.
They had leather armor, but the armor is too small for your men to wear. However, they arm themselves with short bows and daggers, and now you have armed soldiers.
Akuban soldiers.
Armed Akuban soldiers.
These are the finest mercenaries money can buy. I think. I don't know anything about mercenaries. Well, let's...
Bows are nice, but I would prefer a spear in my hands, says Reptar as he flexes the bow.
Wouldn't we all? And I give him a questionable wink.
He just nods approvingly.
I think we should... I don't think there's time to bury these bodies. Do we want to drag them up the hill or run for our lives? Those goblins didn't seem too friendly.
No, I believe we may have angered them. There must be more coming too.
Those are expensive fish, too. They should be thanking us. Come on.
I thought you said fish came from extra-dimensional space.
You are a good listener.
Did you buy fish from Goblin?
In this timeline, yes, indeed. And we start trudging our way uphill, maybe at a slightly steeper angle now.
Okay. You're already free and clear from the tree line as you make your way up the hill. It is rough going, and all of you need to... Wow, look at that roll. All of you need to support each other, but you managed to make it with 2 18s and 2 16s on your...
Do I need to roll anything?
No, I'm just rolling checks to see if it's climbable, and all of you guys managed to climb up this hill. It takes you a little ways, but after a couple of hours of climbing and scrambling, you are halfway up the mountain as you take your first rest. Up here, you can see the entire forest below. It is a lovely sight. Let's zoom in a little bit.
It's deceptive.
Yeah. You are partway up this mountain. Is there anything in particular you would like to do when you're taking your break and halfway up the mountain, or just rest up
Did
and
we
keep
remember
going?
the fish?
The fish are still with you. Someone has been toting the fish dutifully.
So I munch on some smoked fish and look out over the sea. I imagine my homeland far to the east.
Yes,
The
you
university that I left behind.
can't quite see that far, but you can see 15 miles from the top of this, from up halfway
I'm sure
up
I
this
can see
mountain.
the shore, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
I
you can
can't
definitely see the shore. You could maybe even see the edge of the forest off in the distance. Kind of like vaguely, you could see the plains and maybe some hills, but all that stuff is far away.
I really should have kept that brewing proficiency. Have to say, this character would have made so much more sense if he were a drunkard, staggering his way across land. That's the other timeline.
Yeah, we'll do the other timeline next week. Yeah, you guys finish your rest and start hiking up the mountains a little bit further. You eventually settle another hour or so later for another break in a grove of trees. Well, actually, as you approach this grove of trees, um, got off by 2 points. Wow, look at that. As you approach this grove of trees, one of the trees uproots itself and begins stomping towards you.
Again? Wait, we're
I
we're in
told
the
you, man.
mountains
These
and there's
encounter
trees.
rolls. These encounter rolls, bro.
I'm confused. Set the scene for me.
So
Where
you're
they're.
climbing up this mountain, and as you're coming up to a flatter place where you can rest, one of the trees in this flatter place, it's not a very old one. It looks like a young sapling, maybe only like 100 years old for a tree that's not that long. I guess it's not a sapling, but it's a smaller tree. It's it's like I don't God, I don't know how to describe trees very well. Its trunk is
Mentioned.
maybe only about a foot in diameter, and the tree itself is maybe only
Pretty wide
15 feet
girth.
tall. And the tree uproots itself and begins striding towards you, saying
Oh,
in what languages do they speak? They speak pretty much everything. Um, saying
they assume I'm a hobgoblin, right?
it comes towards you, bows swinging, saying, "Who dares trespass our sacred lands?"
This again? Uh, well, I guess deja vu. It's the nature of
Of nature.
time, isn't it? I. My name is Georg, a magus from across the sea. I had jazz hands this time. I've met your friend, your cousin, Lycan, in the woods. He said, "What up?" I sort of like point to the forest behind me. Is this guy also charging me, or is he, or does did I?
He slows his movement. He's still closing from the original 60 feet. He's now 30 feet.
I'm sort of like circling
Do
around.
not speak so friendly. Who are you? And how do you know of Lycan?
Old friend. Go way back. We're just passing through.
Do not feed me your lies. Our kinds have never been friends.
Oh. In that case, fuck Lycan. He was a real jerk. I just met him yesterday. I
You
look
can hear
around.
the
Is there like a
creaking
way
of
around?
branches.
What's that?
As he groans, there's a creaking of branches.
I kind of nod at the slaves, trying to like get out of here, and start like edging away from this clearing. Looked like a nice place to nap. This guy's kind of cranky.
Well, I mean, you're on the steep mountain pass. Really, there's up the mountain and there's down the mountain. There's no, you can go side to side, but you're not making much of a difference that way. He does block your path. He stops about 10 feet from you. His branches are hovering over your head. You feel that he could, if he can control his branches like you can control your arms, he could probably swat you from this distance.
Oh. What kind of tree is he? Can I tell? I don't have a
He is
tree lore, a wood lore proficiency.
An aspen?
Okay, so not an oak, not
Not
the same kind of tree as Lycan.
Yeah. Yes, he's an aspen. That's exactly what I was hoping.
Oh, great tree! I did not mean to stumble into your protectorate. Is that what they call them?
Hmm.
You're just looking to pass through. We will not harm a twig.
That is what the goblins once said. But then they brought axes and fire, and they chopped down my brothers.
I know. They just shot Reptar's brother this morning. Tell him, Reptar. And I give Reptar a nudge in the woods.
Reptar says,
Goblins are the worst. Am I right?
"Goblins shoot us in back. We kill many goblin. We break their heads open with these." And he raises a bloody branch.
Does he not sound elven to you? I asked the tree.
Strange accents, all of you. Are you not You are clearly not elves, nor goblins. But you may be very large dwarves.
Georg has just the scraggliest hint of a beard. He's a lad of but 17. Not mistaken for a dwarf.
Well,
Are these soldiers bearded?
they are.
Well, is there a problem with dwarfs?
You seem fairly reasonable people.
Quite, yes. That is the takeaway message we should leave this conversation with. You seem quite reasonable. You didn't say your name. I extend a hand sheepishly.
Where do you extend your hand?
Vaguely at one of his limbs to shake. Does he give me his name?
My name is Evergreen.
Well, Evergreen, I'm Georg. If there's ever anything you need, just, send a squirrel.
How dare you climb my mountainside? What is your ambition?
To get to the other side?
A common story. Lay down your axes at your feet.
Axes? All right.
All axes.
Any axes? I look at the slaves.
They shake their heads. You have no axes?
Not a one.
You may pass. But beware. These mountains do not harbor your life for long.
Well, that is ominous. Have a nice day, Evergreen.
Evergreen turns and begins the trudge back uphill. You guys will have to follow in his path to walk past him. But that's not too difficult.
Follow behind Evergreen.
All right.
Would have been a way better encounter if I had a crappy European accent, German accent.
All right, you ascend the mountain, and at the end of the day, maybe not quite the end of the day, but near the end of the day, you guys manage to reach the peak. It is a wonder to behold. Somehow you've managed to find a path up here. And looking back down, you actually wonder to yourself how you managed to make it up this path. It was a rough climb. And for a wizard with how much strength?
Not enough.
Yeah.
I think I've got better strength. 11 strength, but only 7 con. So I was hissing and wheezing the whole way out.
You, Reptar and Rugbug managed to pull you up most of the way.
Yeah, I have a quarterstaff, so I was probably leaning against that most of the way.
Yeah. You guys make it to the top. You have enough fish for today and halfway through tomorrow, but then you will be out. From this position, you can see this large lake down below, and I do mean a large lake. It's 11 miles across one way. Actually, it's 11 miles across both ways, just about.
It's a pretty big lake.
It's a big freaking lake, and the mountain is much easier to come down on this side. There's lots of little
So I think we make camp at the top, at the pass. Is that?
Yes, you can make camp in the pass.
We don't like light a fire.
Okay. And on that note, as you camp on the mountains, why don't we take our... Actually, before we take our second break, why don't you tell us what your plan is? Where are you going? What? What?
I
Where will
know.
your adventure take you?
I'm not sure.
You must have some idea of where you want to go.
Like, I mean, want to want to level my character. I mean, like, I want to, I don't know, make spells and build a freaky wizarding tower and shit. But I'm only level 1.
I don't mean in the grand scheme of things.
The
Where do you
grand
want to
scheme
go?
of
I
things.
mean, where are you physically heading?
I mean, down the other side of this mountain. We'll probably see that path and take it where it goes.
That's a river.
See what the world is like. Oh, that's a river.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll go boating. Maybe I'll build a boat on this river, or build a log cabin
Okay.
if we can get away from the yeah.
All right. Well,
So
then let's take our break, and we'll see
we're
everyone.
going we're going chaotic neutral for now.
We'll see y'all on the other side of a break. Bye bye.